Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 307 of the All Dolphins podcast. I am joined today by Miami Herald columnist, more importantly, old friend and former partner on the SI Dolphins website, as well as the All Dolphins podcast, Omar Kelly. Omar,
SIDolphins.com, NFL/Dolphins.
new name coming soon.
Oh, yeah. How long has that been coming?
I know, but now it's officially official, unofficially official. In a couple of weeks, there'll be a different URL. For now, si.com/NFL/Dolphins. See, yours is very simple. It's MiamiHerald.com. Good for you. So, okay, today's episode 307. We're going to talk about the Dolphins' new edition of Calais Campbell and Omar having to get over the fact that he never really wanted the guy to sign. I kid. If you are a regular listener to this podcast, you know Omar was pounding the table, hammering it with a sledgehammer, whatever he could get his hands on, for the Dolphins to sign the dude. It happened.
I at one point, I can't remember which outlet it was, but it became like a Dolphins issue where I said, basically, flush the season down the toilet. You don't sign Calais Campbell.
Yeah.
Because, listen, when you looked at that defensive line, and you did look at that defensive line, could you have answer the question honestly? Could you have gone into the regular season with that?
Yes, you wouldn't have been nearly as good. And for the record, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I was not as vociferous in my support of the move as you were, pitching it every 2 seconds. But it's not like I ever fought back. Clearly, the dude is a great player. Was a great addition on so many levels.
Yeah, but my point was, as status quo with Tier Tart and Benito Jones and Jonathan Harris and Neville Gallimore, all players, and Deshaun Hand, let me not disrespect him, all players who virtually signed for minimum contracts. 5 guys, the rest of the league looked at them and said, thanks, but no thanks. The teams that had them said, thanks, but no thanks. And you said, man, come on over here. Let me give you that minimum salary. Let me shop. Like, you went and you shopped to replace Christian Wilkins and Raekwon Davis. You went to the dollar store and balled out. And you thought that was going to do it and make your whole defense. And understand, in the defense they run, the defensive line is the anchor of that defense. You got to set the edge. You got to clog up the middle. You got to pressure the quarterback. They set the table for everybody. And you thought Zach Sealer and the Dollar Tree was going to do it? Like, I was like, my mind was like blown.
Except, this is not going to be argument number one, because you and I haven't had a good one in a while, but we'll probably have a good one. Not necessarily an argument, but I would tell you, to me, like the 3 players the 3 players that made the Baltimore defense special last year, to me, was one on each level. It was Madubuike, it was Roquan Smith, my man crush.
Yes.
If I can do the heart, there you go. My man crush, and then Kyle Hamilton. So it was one at each level. So to say that it's all about the defensive line, to a certain degree, but you could say that about every defense. Okay, but now here's the problem. Now we're getting sidetracked, because first we have to do the history lesson, because it's going to be a fun one. And for those who don't like it, sorry, but there are a couple of branches to it as well. The year was 2007, because this is episode 307. And this was, Omar, correct me if I'm wrong, your first year on the beat. And it was your welcome to the Dolphins beat.
Let me tell you how that season went, okay? For me. Just let me tell you how that season went. So, one, and I can tell these stories now because the statute of limitations is over. One, I never wanted to stop covering Hurricanes because I loved the Hurricanes. It was a great beat, cushy. I lived all the way down south because that's what I did. I covered the Hurricanes for 7 years. Now, obviously, Randy Shannon taking over the Hurricanes and me and him having a beef, that wasn't going to work out. I don't even know if my paper thought that far, but they realized that they wanted me on the Dolphins beat, and it wasn't not a debate. It was like, you're going to do the Dolphins beat,
and you will like it. You will.
And you're going to do the Dolphins beat. And think about who turns down the Dolphins beat in this market other than me, because I'm like, I don't want to do it. I'm not interested because Alex Marvez was there. I'm like, y'all are good. And they were like, okay, no, we want you to come learn under Alex Marvez. Alex picks up and leaves during the summer.
The great
and
Alex Marvez.
Yeah. And I'm just like what? Like why? And so it just started. The whole thing started as a Dookie show, and then go ahead, tell them about the season.
Well, before the season, there was the draft, and one of the most memorable draft party you will ever see. Not for necessarily a good reason. This was at the Dolphins facility in Davie. They had a draft party inside the bubble, and the fans are going nuts. They want Brady Quinn, Brady, with the 9th pick. The Miami Dolphins select.
Oh, and you know my opinion on Brady Quinn. But
go ahead. And wide receiver, Ohio State, and then Cam Cameron, basically being advised, I don't know if you really want to do it. The fans are not terribly happy with the selection. No, it was planned that I was going to address the fans. I'm going to address the fans. And it's nothing but booze as he's talking. And he is clapping with a smile on his face, trying to clap through the booze, which is having no effect. And then he goes with, no, we're going to turn the thumbs this way from upside down to the right way. And it's not working. And then he come up with a couple of gems, like we drafted the Ginn family.
In the family, yeah. We drafted the Ginn family. Yeah.
In retrospect, Ted Ginn Jr. had a much, much better NFL career than Brady Quinn ever did.
And the Miami Dolphins had their run with Brady Quinn, very mature version of Brady Quinn, who I would argue, and I know you would discredit my argument, but I would argue was the worst quarterback that I'd ever seen in a Dolphins uniform, and I've seen some pretty bad quarterbacks. He's in that conversation.
He's in the conversation. I'll grant you that.
Oh man, he was inaccurate. And then we got into a little tiff where he kept telling he basically I would say he's probably the worst because he threw like 2 interceptions a day. And then he got to the point where he said they're making me throw 2 interceptions a day by telling me get these cornerbacks ready. And the cornerbacks were like, "Oh crap! Like you just suck, bro."
No, and among the fun things that happened, this was a year the Dolphins drafted John Beck, who now has become famous as Tua's quarterback coach, was a 2nd-round pick out of BYU when all the pre-draft reports were like 4th-round pick at best. But no, they took him in the 2nd round. So that didn't really help. This also was a year the Dolphins traded Wes Welker, who, by the way, hat tip to Wes Welker, is going to be in the Texas Tech Ring of Honor. Congratulations. Wes Welker was going to be a restricted free agent. The Patriots were going to offer him a contract with a poison pill. Patriots talked to the Dolphins, decided to arrange a trade. Dolphins traded Welker to the Patriots for a 2nd and 7th round pick. And of course, a lot of Dolphin fans are going to say, most horrible trade in the history of the NFL.
Good trade. Good trade on
the surface. Thank you. Because Wes Welker does not become Wes Welker if he's not playing with Tom Brady and then Peyton Manning. With all due respect to Wes,
I thought about this when he was doing the Texas Tech. When I saw the thing that was produced by Texas Tech and the Dolphins, and he was choked up and it was emotional. And the AD, who I believe is University of Miami's AD, I can't remember his name.
Kirby Holcott.
Yeah, he sucked too. Yeah. He led to the demise of the Canes, but we'll get into it later. He said, "You changed the game." And I thought to myself, there is a bit of truth to that. The white receiver was dying out, just like the white cornerback and the white running back in the NFL before Wes Welker. Name me one, a good one. It was
Steve Largent, Fred Biletnikoff.
No. I'm talking about in that era.
Evan Curtis. To me, his impact on the history of the game is as a slot receiver.
Yeah.
More so than a white receiver.
No. But I think the slot position changed. And then you saw a whole lot of Wes Welker impersonators throughout the league. To Danny Amendola and the kid from Oakland,
Hunter Renfro,
like that position, and and I don't want to, because there are a lot of good receivers that are out there that are of the. I remember I was vividly doing. I was researching, writing, reporting, because I do have a, like, there are certain stereotypes, just like African Americans can't play quarterback, which is now dead. But you will acknowledge that it was.
Yes.
And just like white players can't play cornerback, which, there happen to be white players who are cornerbacks. They just don't make it to the NFL.
Cornerback, yeah, but okay.
Okay, and then the running back position, which obviously McCaffrey has destroyed now.
Mm-hmm.
But there are stereotypes that the NFL adheres to, and before Welker tore up the league, I don't think there was a slot receiver that was game changer.
No, correct. No, I agree. Okay, let's get back to our quick history lesson, because again, it was a history lesson with some branches. So the Dolphins also went the veteran route at quarterback, Trent Green, who lasted but 4 games, got knocked out with a nasty concussion, and he was done. That was the end of his career. And then it became Cleo Lemon, John Beck had a couple of snaps, and the losses just kept piling on until a game against the Baltimore Ravens in December in week 14 that the Dolphins won 22-16 in overtime, because Brian Billick chose to kick a field goal, even though the Ravens sucked that year. And they had like a 4th and goal from the 1-yard line in the final minute and decided to kick a field goal instead of going for the win, which made 0 sense to me at the time. Still doesn't, but be that as it may. And then the Dolphins celebrated like they clinched a playoff spot, which also was weird to me, but I'm told I'm crazy about the.
No. That celebration was very, very valid, very warranted. I remember I shed a tear, just because.
Sorry, did you say you shed a tear?
Oh, I shed a tear.
Okay.
That they were on the verge of being the worst football team in the history of football teams, and if they didn't get that victory, they were definitely going to be a winless team. You know it. Like there was nothing that was derailing that. Cam Cameron was probably the worst coach I've ever encountered or come across, to the point where the players were calling him out for how inept and incompetent he was. Like they had no hope. And also injuries were a major factor on that team. Remember that Patriots game where like 4 guys tore ACLs?
2 on 1 play. And remember there was a bomb in the end zone to Randy Moss, and on the same play it was, there we go. I remembered. I actually had this discussion with somebody last week. I couldn't remember the name. Now I remember. It was Ronaldo Hill. It was Cameron Worrell.
Yep, I remember.
Both tore an ACL, unsuccessfully trying to cover Randy Moss in the end zone.
Yep, I remember that play. I remember it like it was yesterday. Very difficult season, but I think the celebration was warranted because nobody wanted to go down and be part of the worst team in NFL history. Nobody. Remember we went into the locker room, how painful it was every single day to ask them, is this what do you think you guys are going to get a win? Like, is this week you're going to get a win? How frustrating is it? Well, like literally we have 5 questions that we can only ask because you were just so bad and like every crumb was playing. Like every 7th round pick, like nobody on that team like found work ever after that. Like it was so bad, the talent on that roster.
Now we'd come in with our index card from the previous week, our template of questions. How frustrating was it? Is it getting discouraged? I mean,
yeah. Do you think it's gonna? When are you guys going to turn it around? Like we all knew they weren't going to turn it around.
If the game is close, is like, can you gain some measure of confidence setting it? I mean, yes, no, it was tough. They did have. I think it was the year that they'd have, and I'm a weirdo like this, but maybe the best name in team history. They had a guy named Corey Leckerkirker. Look it up. I mean, that's like
I remember Corey. Yeah.
Nothing but K's, E, and R. And it was, I don't know. It amuses me.
Marino.
Marmino, Drew Marmino from Central Michigan.
That was the center was damn. Why can't I remember?
Samson Satelli.
No. Oh no, yeah. Samson
He's a rookie. That's the guy they got. That's the guy they got from the Welker pick.
Yeah. He was actually a pretty decent player.
He was all right. Another branch of this discussion, and we'll wrap it up and move on to Calais Campbell. Our good friends at Pro Football Network came up with the 10 worst coaching hires in NFL history. And with all due respect, because he was courteous to us, but how Cam Cameron is not on that list is beyond me. And that's not even considering the fact that one of the guys the Dolphins interviewed that year was Mike Tomlin.
No, let's not go there. Let's just not.
No, but I mean, just that makes it even worse.
It makes it bad that Cam Cameron had a bad first interview, and they were like, "Nah, we got to do this again. We got to give him another opportunity to make a better first impression." And no, your first impression was the right impression. He was horrible.
He was, and this was a guy.
Rex Hadnot is the guy I'm thinking about.
Rex Hadnot, yes.
And he moved to right guard when he got dethroned by Samson Satele.
There you go. University of Houston, 6th round pick. I want to believe. I want to say.
Man, that team was bad.
Okay. So anyway, Cam Cameron, Omar, and I are on the same page here. There's no list of the 10 worst coaching hires in NFL history that's legit without Cam Cameron on it.
If Cam Cameron isn't in your top 5 of worst NFL head coaching hires, like something's wrong with your list. Something's clearly wrong with your list.
The list did have include 2 names connected with the Dolphins. Adam Gase at number 10, and the hire by the Jets immediately after he was let go by the Dolphins. And
I don't even like that.
The timing was weird. It was weird that he got hired immediately after the Dolphins dumped him, but top 10 worst hire in the NFL.
Nah, he wasn't top 10 worst hire.
And then the other one was David Shula, who was number 5 on the list, hired by the Bengals in 1992. To me, considering the experience he'd had in the Dolphin offense under his father, one of the greatest coaches of all time. I don't know if you're playing the results here because they didn't pan out. I don't think.
Yeah, no, that's not even fair.
Okay. So
I would go Philbin on that list before I put David Shula.
No, that's a very good point. No, and Joe Philbin, who had been an offensive coordinator, not calling plays.
Really?
Whereas Cam Cameron came over as after being an offensive coordinator with the Chargers in 2006, and that didn't pan out. Okay, so we're bringing it back to 2024. Omar, I'm bringing you to your happy place. Calais Campbell is a Miami Dolphin. The Campbell family did a Zoom session. You like that, right? Did a Zoom session with the South Florida media on the Tuesday. Anything in particular about what he said struck you?
That he keeps playing for the love of the game. He's a fan of the game. This is a guy who I've known Calais since he was a junior in high school, being recruited by the University of Miami, and came for a visit before, I believe it was a Peach Bowl game, or it was some big bowl game. No, came for a visit maybe before the Fiesta Bowl game. I can't remember exactly when. And I looked at him, and he was like, and I remember looking at him and talking to him, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to come here, and they're going to let me play basketball and football." And I thought to myself, young man, they're lying to you. You're going to play football, and you're going to go to the NFL, and you're going to like it. And all these dreams of playing 2 sports, they're just fantasies. But he eventually got with the program. I remember Eric Winston was his host. Like, this is how old I go back. And I just thought to myself, like, man, this guy is going to be. And I remember, Calais, I wrote a column in the Miami Herald, and I read your piece too. It was different than
and where at si.com/.
Yeah. Come on, I'm still a fan. I'm still reading. But I wrote a column in the Miami Herald, and basically the column is Calais Campbell's the last of a dying breed. He is the last legitimate University of Miami player from the heyday of when you knew UM as a great program. He is the last of the Mohicans.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, been a minute.
No. This is. I mean, while they have players in the NFL who have potential to have impact, like Jalen Phillips, like Calais comes from that era where the Hurricanes were the most feared team in the NFL. I mean, the most feared team in college football. And when you got a Kane, you knew that was a tone setter. Like, he set the tone for your team, whether it was offense or defense. Like, he was Andre Johnson, or he was Santana Moss, or he was, Willis McGahee. Calais is the or Greg Olsen. Calais is the last. He is an extinct dinosaur. When he's done, that era of the Canes football is finished, finito, over.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that he's going to have an opportunity to hopefully end his career here. Not even thinking that it could be this season. I don't know if, like, the way Calais has looked the last year or two, he could play 20 years, because it's not like you're looking at a guy and saying, oh, he's on a legit snap count or pitch count. Like, no, he played 60% of the snaps in Atlanta. And obviously, as a 5 technique defensive end in a 3-4 scheme, I don't know if there is better, because your primary job is to set the edge and stop the run. And he's still a monster at it. Then you could put him at defensive tackle in a 4-man pressure system, and he could still collapse the pocket by beating your center to death. Like, there is nothing. And I'm glad that he talked about all the things he's done in his career and all the schemes he's played. And this is where it made so much sense for me for the Miami Dolphins, because name me a more scheme diverse defensive tackle other than defensive lineman, other than maybe Aaron Donald, because he could play everything in every scheme. The only thing he said he doesn't like to do is stand up.
Correct. Well, where he would become like a
I
don't know what they call the edge defender.
The edge defender or an elephant, yeah. And like, so I've always felt, when I looked at what they did this offseason, I said, this can't be it. Like, in my mind, there had to be another plan that just wasn't unleashed yet. And just him saying that I've been talking to Weaver for a while, and this has been on the table for a while, and I just didn't know what I wanted to do, or wanted to wait for other offers. Like, it had to be what the master plan was. And I will make the argument to you that if you take age out of the equation, and you said, for this scheme, Anthony Weaver scheme, take age and money out of the equation, and I know this is going to be sacrilegious, I'm not sure I wouldn't pick Calais Campbell over Christian Wilkins. I'm not sure I wouldn't.
For 1 year.
For 1 year. Yeah, take age and money out of the equation. Like, I'm sorry, Calais is a Hall of Fame player. Calais is an all-decade player. Has Christian Wilkins ever been an all-decade player? Has he ever been a Pro Bowler? Has he ever been a sack?
You're heading back to his bad side now.
He's gone now. I don't care. Like, he's gone. He can't give me no dirty looks in the locker room. I'm good. He's gone. Calais has been to the mountaintop. Calais has been the best player at his position for a decade. Is Christian Wilkins?
Has he been the best player at his position? I don't know if I go that far, but the dude's been insanely consistent year after year after year after year after. You know what you're going to get from the dude. Now he's going to be 38 in September.
30.
Sorry?
38. You mean 38?
Isn't that what I said?
No, you said 30.
No, 38.
Okay, throw the 8 on there. Yeah, 38.
Oh man, 38. But it's not a speed position, and as he told us in the Zoom media session, that he's not as athletic as he was in his younger days. Who is now? It's more about technique and strength and all that. And there were no signs of slowing down really last year. I mean, 6.5 sacks with the Falcons, very impressive year. And then to me, along with everything he gives you on defense, from a tangible perspective, and you talked about his versatility and all that. Can you ask for a better mentor and leader for the guys up front? I mean, holy smokes.
Here's my question to you. Who is the leader in that defensive side of the ball?
Calais Campbell. I mean.
No. If Calais wasn't added. Not the line, just the whole defense.
No, correct. I'm trying to think, because
Javon Holland.
Because your best player is Jalen Ramsey, and that's kind of not. I don't perceive that as being his style. It's not him. Like David Long Jr. maybe.
Zach Sealer, and I love Sealer. It's just there has to be, and that was my thought process when I watched what they did this offseason. Okay. And I think that what they've built is respectable now, but they stripped it all down. They stripped it all down. They let it all go. Jordan Poyer obviously is going to be a leader as well.
Oh, sorry.
And they added new pieces, and it's going to have to create a new identity for the defense. But you need a Teron Armstead. You need a Raheem Mostert on every unit. Mm-hmm. And those guys are invaluable to you. And while they might not still be the stud players that you thought that they once were in their heyday, you need guys who are going to go in there and confront other teammates and get in people's faces and give that rally cry speech and go out there and lead with their effort and their performance. And that to me is Calais. It's Calais and Poyer, to me, are my two front runners for defensive captains.
I agree.
I don't know about Jordan Brooks. Maybe Jordan Brooks comes in, and I don't know what his personality is like.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I forgot about Jordan Poyer when you first asked me. He's the guy who actually completely jumps out. So no, I mean, I'm in total agreement. And for all of you out there who comment that this podcast is too negative, Omar and I could not be more positive about this acquisition. We both love it. And
I love the Marcus May acquisition as well. I love it. I didn't even think about him because there were so many different safeties that were out there that are free agents and were excellent players still, or still had something to give. Marcus May, like, this is a guy who's been a MVP of his team.
Mm-hmm.
He's been a franchise tagged player.
Jets 2020, by the way, for those wondering.
Yeah. He's gone out. He's got a mega deal from the Saints. Playmaker, former playmaker. You've seen the plays he's made against the Miami Dolphins throughout the years. So yes, is he injury prone? He is. But you know what the reality is? When you got a team that's cap strapped or just patching holes because they got a high salary roster, what are they going to do? They're going to add character concerns and they're going to have injured players. This is just what the reality is.
Yeah, correct. No, I made the point on si.com/NFL/Dolphins. And you can read Omar's work at MiamiHerald.com. That outside of Justin Simmons, Marcus May was just as good as any of the available safeties on the market. And Justin Simmons was going to be pricey.
Yes. I would make the argument that Jamal Adams probably could give you a little bit more thump. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, except his game has gone south since he went to Seattle.
Yeah. But are you certain that he can't give you the physicality that you need in the box that you might not have right now? Or are you putting Jordan Poyer in the box? Is that what you're doing?
Maybe.
Okay. All right. I mean, I'm fine. So that means Javon or Marcus roam center field. I think Javon is going to. I personally think Javon is going to be a nickel. Me on third down. I could see him entering that more active role in the box. It'll give them a good smorgasbord of packages.
Correct, because we could see some 3 safety looks.
Yeah, I like Javon closer to the ball than away from the ball. I think he's a better player when he's closer to the ball, in my opinion.
Interesting.
Do you like Javon as a center fielder?
It's interesting. I'd have to study that. I might have to make that maybe my homework for the next couple of weeks. That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Where do you like Javon better?
Yeah, because I mean, this is a big year for him. It's a major contract year.
Yeah.
Where am I going to get the best out of Javon? I don't know the answer to that question, to be honest with you. But I think he's one of those players where I'm way more comfortable with him being closer to the ball than being back there playing center field, just trying to not let anything get past me. That's just my thought process.
Yeah. I don't know if he's got the physicality to line up close to the line all the time, though.
That is true. That is a good question. That is a good question.
That's what I try to bring here. So are we happy with where the roster stands now, or you want to see some more?
Oh, I'm absolutely thrilled with where the roster is now. Now I could say thrilled. Outside of having a legit backup center that's not named Liam Eichenberg, and I wrote a piece in the Miami Herald.
What is this? Hold on. Oh, you or me?
I don't know, but
What do we have?
what happened?
I don't know. We find out. That was me, actually. Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
Outside of
Free advertising for whoever that was.
outside of a backup center, and I get it, Liam Eichenberg is your backup center, but I would like to see Liam Eichenberg and the Eichenberg Express get a legit opportunity to play right guard. I think that that's only fair. You use, and I wrote about this in the Miami Herald column. You used a second round pick in 2021, gave away a third round pick in 2022 to move up to get Liam Eichenberg. So you use a second and a third for Liam Eichenberg because you were that convicted that he was going to be a good NFL player. Yes, it has not panned out for him as you had hoped at right tackle or left guard or center. But I think right guard, I think he could do it. I think every time we've evaluated Liam Eichenberg, he was playing with a broken rib cage. He was playing center at a position where he wasn't comfortable, familiar. Then he was playing with a calf injury at the end of the season where he couldn't practice all week. I don't know if we've ever really had a fair opportunity to really evaluate him as a interior guard with some experience at that position. Because remember, his first year when he was playing left guard, that was his first year at left guard. Mm-hmm. Not to make excuses. And then he had battled some injuries. Then he came back from the injuries. Not to make excuses for Liam Eichenberg, because I think we've all had our laundry list of making excuses for him. But there's a reason where his teammates and his coaches have not given up on him. And I could tell you there's so many. Hell, they gave up on Ryan Tannehill probably year 3 of years of the 7 years.
He was a quarterback for 7 years.
And yeah, he was a quarterback for 7 years. When the team doesn't give up on you, and I'm not just talking about the organization, but your teammates, because if Liam Eichenberg's teammates told me, nah, not gonna do it, can't do it, won't do it, like we need better, then I'd say, okay, time to move on. But they have not said that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I think he needs a legit shot to play that right guard spot. And if you got to handle the second team snaps at center because you don't have a second team center, I don't know how comfortable I'm going to feel about that.
No, I agree. And again, if you're giving the guy a legit shot at right guard, and he starts taking the lead, then it should be okay. Full on blast to get a new backup center.
Yeah. No, and maybe one of these guys who's added as undrafted players playing center. I mean, all I'm saying is, come on, the first 2 weeks. Give me 2 weeks.
Okay.
Maybe 3 weeks. Give me 3 weeks.
Okay.
Where Liam's got a legit competition with Jack Driscoll. You lose to Jack Driscoll, okay, brother, you're the backup center and you're the swing man.
Are we dismissing Robert Jones out of hand?
Yeah, I am.
Not very nice.
I mean, I just am.
Okay.
Rob Jones, you want that left guard spot? Go beat out Isaiah Wynn, because I don't think Isaiah Wynn's going to practice that much. I think he's on that 30-year program, 30-year-old program where he might be doing country club training camp, which I'm not knocking it.
Does he have the stature to be doing the country club training camp, though?
I don't know. I don't care. I think Mike McDaniel's I need to get this team ready and good for December and January. And I think the 30-year-olds, they're going to be on the country club program. I just do.
To me, if they're frontline players, fine. I don't know if I would consider, no offense, Isaiah Wynn a frontline player.
He was playing pretty good before he got hurt.
He was playing well. I mean, let's not put him in the Hall of Fame for that performance.
And he's also been a player who's had injury history and injury concerns and body durability issues and falling apart. So if I got Tehran in the country club program, I'm putting Isaiah in the country club program as well. And maybe I take them out of it week 2 of the exhibition season and then allow them to Tehran ain't playing, but allow some of the 30-year-olds to start playing in the later stages of the exhibition season. But to me, at this point, maybe they have them do joint practices where it's controlled environments, even though we saw what happened to Tehran. So I don't even know if I'm doing that. Yeah. Tehran isn't stepping foot in anything contact related probably till exhibition season is over.
One would think, because that seemed to be the thought last year, and then at some point he's like, "Well, no, I really need some snaps in those."
Yes, exactly. We got to the. Oh, I really need some snaps, and then we saw what happened, and that ain't happening no more. Tehran, I'm sorry. You know what I'm doing with Tehran? I'm putting Tehran in a boxing CrossFit program, and Tehran is going to be boxing and getting himself in the best shape of his life. Boxing, CrossFit, Pilates, hot yoga. Tehran is not doing anything football related till probably about 3 weeks before the regular season starts. He can do all of the individual drills if you want. I'm not even letting him go in there for his one series. Like, no, thanks. I appreciate it. But thanks.
No, correct. You don't. The last thing you want, obviously, is a fluke thing to happen. Okay, we have to address this because it's in the rules. I have the rules right here. It's in the rules. Trevor Lawrence, big contract, of course. 275.
I have no idea where you're going with that.
Yeah, it's in the rules. Must discuss Tua. 142 million guaranteed at signing. Total of 200 million guaranteed. And the Dolphins are probably going, thanks a lot, Jaguars. And then Tua and his agents are probably going, yep. See that?
You see that? If I'm Miami, I'm not offering that. If I'm Miami, I'm offering Justin Herbert's contract. And
I don't remember what his guarantee is.
He had like 100, and I could tell you in a second. Give me a second. And I don't disagree with your thought process. Just because everybody else jumped off the cliff doesn't mean that I should jump off the cliff as well. Justin Herbert got a 7-year, $300 million deal. 133.7 is fully guaranteed. 193.7 is guaranteed for injury. I understand it's an old deal. Nah, I'm not doing $133 million. If I'm Tua, I'm not signing for anything less than probably $155 million guaranteed.
I could see that. No, I could see that.
But if I'm Miami, I'm saying to myself, I'm saying as an organization, I don't care what everybody else got. We're offering you a respectable deal. We put in $155 million of guaranteed money on the table. You either sign it or you play on your 5th-year option.
Yep.
And then we play this song and dance game that nobody wants to play. But the reality is, okay, could the Dolphins tag him for the next 2 years? Yeah, they could. And all the risk is on Tua. Do you want to take all that risk? Do you want to assume all that risk? Or do you want your generation-changing money? Like $155 million changes many generations of your family.
Yeah, we could live on that for a bit. No, and then it's going to be a stare down to who blinks first. Yeah. And that's
and even though I think this is not the way that Steve Ross wants or prefers to do business, the reality is, who are you competing with against for Tua? Even if he did hit the open market, like, what dome team out there is going to be backing up the Brinks truck? Like,
correct.
So, and that's no disrespect to Tua. I'm of the opinion he is a 45 to 47 million a year player. He is not in the 50 million a year class. And you know, I'm only talking real money, not the fake money.
Correct.
Just real money. And when you equate and look at what some of these quarterbacks are making, Justin Herbert's really making 38.7 for the first 5 years of his deal. Nobody talks about that. We go to Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's really making 42.1 for the first 4 years of his deal. Nobody talks about that. But those are the deals that Tua should be making. Throw all the back end money on it and make it look like it's 50 to 55 million, and who cares? I don't care. The
agents care.
Yeah, the agents care. They care. Yes. You can make it look all pretty as much as you want. You can do like Tyreek's deal. You could throw on an $80 million contract in the final year. Go right ahead. All I care about is the real money and what you're paying him in the first 4 years of the deal. And to me, I'm not paying Tua more than $45 million in the first 4 years of his deal. So I'm not even negotiating it with him. Like, this is not, it is what it is. Like, we have control over you.
Kelly crystal ball, is he signed before the start of training camp?
Absolutely. Because he's a team player. He knows that he's had it bad before. He knows what the alternative is.
Mm-hmm.
This is pretty damn good. Pretty damn good, pretty damn sweet. The taxes alone, I'm not putting out no ridiculous deal because of the taxes alone in the state. Even though Jacksonville has state-free, state
No state income tax either, yeah.
State income tax either. I don't care what Trevor Lawrence got. Even though I said they had to get the deal done before Trevor Lawrence, I don't care what he got. Like, I'm not offering it. And
correct, but you know damn well that, again, the question is whether that Tua's representation is going to ask for that or more, and then the question is, do they ever relent if the Dolphins were like, no, you're not getting that?
Yeah,
because again, somebody's going to have to give. Somebody's going to have to give.
Somebody's going to have to give. Unfortunately, I think it's going to have to be Tua, because I'm like, you still got more to prove. Not that Trevor Lawrence doesn't have more to prove, or Jared Goff doesn't have more to prove, or Justin Herbert doesn't have more.
Whoa! Repeat that.
Burrow doesn't have more to prove. But like, you still got questions that are unanswered, and I'm proud of you for what you've accomplished. But just because everybody else is getting $50 million deals, that doesn't. It's like my parents. Just because everybody went to school with Jordans on, that doesn't mean you got to have Jordans on. Like, you want Jordans, you go earn Jordans. You go buy your own Jordans. And this is the same situation. Like,
and this is where I always push back against everybody who just throws out the numbers. He led the NFL in passing yardage. Okay, that's absolutely fabulous. It was
passer rating the year before too.
Yes, great and all that. That's awesome. Are we really ready to commit the highest salary for a quarterback after the results against playoff opponents last year?
I don't think saying the highest salary is fair. Should he be a top 7 paid quarterback in the NFL? Yes. Does he need to be a $50 million a year player? No.
Is he a top 7 quarterback in the NFL?
Top 7 highest paid? Is he what?
No. Is he a top 7 quarterback? You're saying he needs to be top 7 paid.
No, he's not. But a lot of guys, age and youth plays a factor in who gets the money. So, Matt Stafford's a top 7 paid quarterback. Matt Stafford's making like ridiculous $35 million a year. You see him shaking down the team, but he's already made $200 million.
No, it's coming actually. The word is, he's not happy with his contract.
Yeah, but he's made $200 million.
Sure, but he wants more.
Yeah, they all want more.
And this again, this is like to me it's the stupidity of this. Always, well, if he got this, and then you have to go higher, then you have to go higher, and you have to go higher.
I saw Mark Jones talk about that in a snippet with Cam Wolf, and he justified it in terms of what they gave the Eli Manning. And he's like, that's just the culture of the league. The next guy's got to be higher than the last guy. And I don't necessarily agree with that, because you saw Kyler Murray take a deal that was not the highest guy out there. And to me, say whatever you want. If you put 4 years at $40 million a year and guarantee all those $40 million salaries, and put to it at $260 million in guaranteed money for the next 4 years, if you turn that down, you're the dummy. Like, that's just the way that I look at it, because that's generation changing money, and who knows who could arm tackle you, drag you down, and destroy your hip in a game,
or something else.
Yeah.
But again, this is where, when he says the market is the market, is he pitting himself in a corner by saying that? I mean,
it is what it is. I mean,
it is what it is. Okay.
If I put you ahead of Jalen Hurts and I put you ahead of Justin Herbert, okay. Like, even if I put you ahead of Joe Burrow, 7 years, $275 million, just because you're not up there with Goff and Trevor Lawrence, are you going to be turning your nose up at it? Is that what, Joe Burrow got $146.5 million in fully guaranteed money. Like, so are you turning your nose up at 150?
That is a question, isn't it? Okay, we'll close on this. We were talking about Tua. Tyreek Hill's still doing his camps, clinics on a regular basis. He was in Rochester, New York this weekend, and according to a reporter who covered it, he does a little Q&A after the fact, after they do the on-field work, sitting in front of everybody. And the first question, right out of the block, Tyreek, who's better, Tua or Mahomes? Talk about
humming.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, you know the answer to that.
Everybody who's objective can. I mean, it's like, come on.
I don't even think you have to not be. Come on, what Tua non-member is going to actually say Tua? What Tua non-member?
Well, here's the part. I'm going to make a point. Because I have seen this comment made recently and a couple of times. Tyreek's got better numbers with Tua.
Because the offense revolves around Tyreek.
That's my point. Tyreek has career highs when it comes to volume, most targets, most receptions, most yards, most touchdowns. When it comes to efficiency, you look at yards per catch in a season. His two best seasons were with KC. You look at catch percentage.
What about touchdowns?
Best seasons were with KC. You look at success rate, which is a Pro Football Reference category. If you get the first down on third down, if you get at least 6 yards on first down, his two highest numbers. Also with KC, the difference is when he got to Miami, it was all about all the focus is on Tyreek. When he was in KC, it's a whole lot of Tyreek, a whole lot of Travis Kelce, and then we'll sprinkle other people. That's why the volume numbers are the best in Miami. But to suggest that Tyreek's career has taken off because he's playing with Tua now, come on.
Is Tyreek a 2,000-yard receiver?
Yeah, but he'd be in Kansas City if they focused on him as well. I don't know.
No. I'm saying, does he do it this year?
Oh, is that no? I think because again, we're going to go. What has recent precedent told us? There's going to be some minor stuff happening late in the season. Happened his first two seasons. He also had like an ankle issue late in 2022, and then last year as well. So. We shall find out. And your prediction is yes?
I think this is the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the other question. Does the Dolphins need him to be a 2,000-yard receiver?
Probably not. But does Mike McDaniel need him to be a 2,000-yard receiver? Probably yes. Does Mike McDaniel's ego want to have the first 2,000-yard receiver in NFL history?
Mike McDaniel wants a playoff win.
He still wants the records and numbers. You saw that on Hard Knocks. Don't deny it.
That's a very good point. But again, but how do you balance that against the Denver game when he didn't
call off the dogs?
Correct. If he wants all the records and all that.
That's being a poor sportsman, I guess. I would have did it, but anyway,
is running a double move up 56-13.
Hey man, if the quarterback want to bite on the double move, that's his problem.
But it's like again, show me the balance here. At 56-13, well, I don't know, 10 minutes left. Think you're pretty much clear you're going to win.
I want all the smoke. I want it all. I want it. I was bad. They called off the dogs, and so was a lot of members on that team. But anyway,
no, I agree. And then there's certain coaches. There are certain coaches on the receiving end who will get pissy. Others will be like, because I covered this. I know you love the guy, so I'm going to throw out a reference. You're going to love Bobby Bowden. Was on the receiving end of an ass kicking from UM, and I think they ran a double reverse up big late in the game. And he was asked about that after the game, and he was like, "No problem with that. No, sorry, it's our job to stop them. No issue whatsoever." And then you have some coaches who are going to be like,
yeah, sure, like Sean Payton. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I never.
Yeah, he's going to take it personal.
He will. Okay. On that note, Omar enjoyed it as always. You can read. He is Omar Kelly. You can read his work at the Miami Herald on miamiherald.com/sports/Dolphins. Is that how that works?
I like how you did that. All right.
And you can read my work at si.com/NFL/Dolphins. We're on the All Dolphins podcast. And again, this is for those who have been following the podcast. Omar used to be the co-host, my colleague. We're going to trade appearances on each other's podcast as often as humanly possible because we miss each other a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. But,
on that note,
enjoy your trip, and I will see you on the Herald podcast.
Sounds good. Thanks everyone for watching. Please like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and have a great rest of the day.